Res. If this is the first big gathering you're having this year with your friends and family during the holidays, it's a good idea to make sure Zero Res gets your home in tip-top shape for your company. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 17,000 reviews, and the Zero Res Gotta Love It guarantee makes it easy to get what you pay for. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129, and don't forget about your air ducts. Take an additional $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res. With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight with a low of 31, then snow on Saturday with temperatures around 29. The nights are getting colder, but the music is still the hottest at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. View their upcoming music schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. It's Friday, which of course means Casual Friday, and I'm really excited. First of all, we got to the end of the week. That's the main thing. And also, finally, after about 10 weeks away, we have Adam finally making an appearance at AM 950. So thanks for coming in for once.
Yeah, I'm back. The snow is held off, so I don't have to worry about getting frozen out there, looking like the end of the Shining movie, you know.
Well, though, if you would have listened to Patrick's meteorological forecast, there's snow tomorrow.
And tomorrow, I'm sitting in my warm house all by myself.
Wow.
Probably going to break out my new spirit box tomorrow.
You sound like a lot of fun. What kind? So you got a new spirit box?
Yes, my wife bought me the SB7.
Nice. Very nice.
And she also bought me a Ouija board.
Wow. Welcome to the club.
So I had a Ouija board prior. It's a handmade one from an artist I listened to, a former lead singer of the Misfits. He had a bunch of them made up. I bought one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to do this in my house. I want to find another location.
AM 950.
Quite possibly.
No.
I want to do a dual Ouija board and spirit box session all at one time.
Well, good luck with that.
I know you won't want to be involved with that. I've heard your voicemail.
Yeah.
So, but I'm.
So what's beckoning you to that?
Doing this show has made me braver and braver and braver and wanting to try new things in investigations, wanting me to go out and do new experiences. I want to go Sasquatch hunting. I hate camping. I'm willing to do that to go find Bigfoot.
Joanne.
So things like that.
Joanne's like, go to Greg's house. Thanks, Joanne. Appreciate it. Hey, we've done it at my house, and it's something that they remember. They remember. I have about 7 of them. 7 or so Ouija boards.
Are they all the Mattel, like one of mine, or you got ones from throughout the decades?
Oh, I got one that's over 100 years old.
Ooh.
I have one that my friend Christy made me that's glass.
Nice.
With a wood bottom. Then I have 2 of the Mattel or Hasbro varieties. One that's been in my house the entire time I've been there, and I had no idea. So that was weird. And then I have a mini one, an itty bitty one that someone gave me.
Oh, we've also got the Mentos one at home, the little Mentos Ouija board.
What's that?
You pick them up at like Spirit of Halloween or a place like that. It's a Mentos can, but on top is a Ouija board, and the little mints inside look like little planchettes.
Ah,
It's actually kind of neat.
edible.
Yeah.
An edible Ouija board. Yeah. It's funny. Now, do you have a Ouija board or a Ouija board?
A Ouija board.
Ouija board.
Ouija. Wedgie board.
A Ouija board.
It's a Ouija board.
Like Wheezy from Jefferson. So Wheezy board.
It's a Wheezy board. Or when I was younger, it's like Elijah? How do you pronounce this? Or a gyro. I was going to a Greek restaurant. I'll take one of your gyros.
All right. Okay. Now you're prompting me to tell a story that I maybe shouldn't tell, but I'm going to anyway. El Loro,
yes.
Right? And other Mexican restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of a michelada?
No.
So a michelada is a beer with tomato juice in it. And I like that sort of thing.
Right on.
All right. 2 to 3 places now. And because I'm always unsure of how to say things right. Truly, that is one of the things because 99% of the time I'm not going to say it right.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in and I order a michelada, and the guy is like, what? I'm like, a michelada? I don't know. Oh, is it michelada? Oh, michelada. Okay, yeah, we'll get you a michelada. Is it that different?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You know, maybe he heard Michelob the first time.
So I thought, okay, that's one place. Then you think that I would remember. It's called a michelada. Of course I don't. You know, this is me. And I go to another place in Rush City, and I'd like a michelada, and he's just like, I don't know what that is. A michelada? No. Oh, a michelada. Oh, a michelada. Okay, yeah, we'll get you a michelada. And my friend, Tree, Tree,
yeah.
She's there and she's just laughing her ass off because she's just like, really? And I'm like, I know. And this is like the second, third place. And she's like, well, why don't you learn how to say it right? And I'm like, well, that's a whole other problem. So,
yeah.
One issue at a time, okay?
That's when you just need to type it into Google on your phone, turn up the volume,
right.
Be like, michelada.
or no, good idea. But how about I just record myself saying it, and every time, what would you like? Hold on, michelada. And I press the button on the phone. I record it myself in my voice.
There. That's even better.
The 45 minutes it takes me to finally, fiddle with my phone to get it out and figure out where the recording is. And
I've
all
got
that
this
stuff.
file. Hold on.
Yep.
I know what I want. Well, we used to go to this chain Italian place. And one of my favorite things was, and I finally learned how to pronounce it after like 4 times, Gorgonzola. And I would always call it, I'll take the steak Gonzaga.
Well, I don't think you're still saying it right, are you?
I'm probably not. But at least by the time before my lactose intolerance really kicked in, I had it figured out enough to where the waiter could be like, oh, dumb white guy. Gotcha.
Are you saying you can't say things right because you have lactose intolerance? Like I can't say dairy product names right because I have lactose intolerance.
Yeah. All that chess, I can't eat it.
Gorgonzola, right?
Or Gonzaga. Gorlia. See, I can't do any of that. Like cheddar, I can't do that.
I'm not gonna have any milk.
Grade F milk, perfect for bones. Next, will you grinding up gym mats? Yes, I've seen that Treehouse of Horror.
I've been watching it again. I still enjoy The Simpsons very much.
I do too. I like that show.
I don't believe. I mean, to each their own. They can not like whatever they don't want to like, but I still get some good laughs out of it. And I've told you about the It episode of The Simpsons, right?
Yeah. It was like not this past Treehouse of Horror, but the one before that.
Well, it wasn't even a Treehouse of Horror. It was right before it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I thought it was, though. And then they had the Treehouse of Horror, which was really dark.
Yeah.
Really it was the one where Marge gets some sort of thing in her and she wants to kill Maggie. Like, whoa. And it's dark. It's really dark.
As much as I like these newer ones, I still to this day, Treehouse of Horrors 1 through 8 are so good.
Yeah.
You go back and watch those all the time. The Dracula one that was supposed to be based, the spoof of the Francis Ford
with
Coppola.
Burns, yeah.
And then the one that was the gremlin on the plane, and they had a gremlin on the side of the school bus, based on that Twilight episode with William Shatner. Those are still my favorites.
Yeah. There's some really good ones there. And so I've been enjoying those. And for those who are wondering what I'm talking about with the It episode, there is an episode of The Simpsons. We're on like season 34 or something now, aren't we? So it'd been season 33.
Yeah, because it started in like 88 or 89.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there was an episode that is a kind of a take on It, the Stephen King It, with the clown, but the clown is Krusty the Clown. And it's very dark, actually. It's very funny, but it's also very dark. And there's actually a couple scary moments in there. But wait and watch the end credits. That is ridiculous because it's a lot of renderings of Krusty the Clown as the It clown, and they're dark, they're creepy. I mean, it's just like, whoa, they went there. And I think a show that's been on for like 33,000 years, you do kind of think that they're just like, let's just do anything now, because what else are we going to do? We can't do the status quo anymore. We've been on for way too long, and we need to do something to keep it fresh. So, good for them. I think they're doing a great job with that.
Yeah, and I did like the tip of the cap there in the post-credit scenes, going through the old drawings as they did in both the TV miniseries and in the movies.
Yes.
And to me, in the TV miniseries, that was the creepiest part.
With Tim Curry.
Yeah, when the pictures started to come alive.
Yeah.
And then he like hops up there in the front of it. He's like, hey. And it's just like, oh my. I think I was like 10 when that came out. So, of course, I had to expose my cousin Brandon to it, who was 4 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my buddy Wagner duct taped him to a chair.
As one does.
And made him watch it.
Yeah, no.
He is still deathly afraid of clowns, and he's in his late 30s.
I don't see how what you did was wrong at all.
See? The cops, we told them that too. And they,
yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I was only in jail for 6 months, and
yeah, I turned out all right.
Well, yeah.
Other than this teardrop tattoo under my eye.
So tonight, one of the things I want to do, I had question of the week, which might have scared people away. Actually, it is. Let's see here. Where is it? That scared me away. The question tonight is, what is the scariest thing you've ever seen and you can't explain? And we've had some responses. We'll read those in the second segment. But also, one of the things, Adam, you responded to it, and one of the things I really wanted to get across is, please don't respond with some political like, well, when so-and-so went into office, that scared me. I can't explain why they were there. It's like, I don't want to hear it.
I was around for Bay of Pigs, and that scared the crap out of me.
Right. And it's just like, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm asking about. So, please respond there. That's probably why we didn't get that many responses this time, actually. Greg's telling us what to do again. But, it's okay, because we do have some responses. You have one that's pretty much could be published as a book that you put on Facebook. So, and I have a feeling that the explanation will actually be longer than what you put onto the Facebook.
Oh, quite possibly. It's a good thing, it's no longer, it's a good thing that wasn't on Twitter, and I would have had to pay for like tweet longer or whatever.
It would be one of 700.
Yeah.
And
Fred.
So yeah, we got all that. And also I want to invite our listeners to call in. If you want to actually call in and talk about something scary you've seen, let's say paranormal wise. Okay. I mean, I don't want to hear from any party. Well, when Biden, he came in, or when Trump came in, or you know what, keep that away. This is a respite from paranormal. I almost said sometimes you wonder, but a respite from political. Call in 952-946-6205. You call in at 952-946-6205, and it's going to be. It'll be interesting to hear what people have to say. We're going to read some before we go to break, Adam. I don't know if I don't know if you listen to the show when you're not on. I don't expect you to, but last Friday I did. I read a story about someone in the government who's running one of the government agencies who thinks that UFOs might be hiding amongst space junk around the Earth. because we have such a clutter of space junk around the Earth from all of our different, not just Americas, but all the different space explorations and whatnot. And I'm watching currently a British television program. I don't know if you know, like Jerry Anderson, Thunderbirds, the Marionettes.
Yeah.
He did a show. He did a couple famous shows. One, Space 1999, but also UFO.
I know Space 1999. Don't know UFO.
UFO, and they call them UFOs, which is just ridiculous. But an episode like the next day I watched, because I watched one a day, centered around space, like a UFO hiding among space junk from discarded rockets that we launched. Like, well, that's weird. I mean, I was just talking about that. I was just reading about it, and there it is.
There's like I said before, there is a thing about coincidences that aren't too coincidental.
No, not at all. And it's very it's very interesting. And I mean, it seems so obvious. So actually, I mean, look at Empire Strikes Back. Han Solo did it with the Empire trash being left off of the what's their big ships that they have, the Empire has, you know what I'm talking about,
Star Destroyer. Yeah.
And that's where Boba Fett was too, actually, as it happened. So yeah.
It's not far-fetched at all, and in one of the very believable ones, like living under the oceans. I am a firm believer that aliens have been here longer than humans have been on this planet.
Well, and I'm sure aliens at this point would be like, it's the oldest trick in the book. So why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and take our first break? When we come back, we are going to be reading through some of the answers to our question of the week. I have a couple stories, and then we're just going to be chatting. If you want to join in, 952-946-6205. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with MetamorphosisConnections.com. MetamorphosisConnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search MetamorphosisConnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on MetamorphosisConnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting MetamorphosisConnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's MetamorphosisConnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Magus Books, your multicultural spiritual supply store. Stop in and expand your horizons with books, classes, readings, and supplies at magusbooks.com or in our shop at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis. From the best incense to beautiful statues, we have supplies and books for your spiritual explorations. Come in and chat with our knowledgeable staff and get what you need for your next adventure, whether you're fighting ghosts or opening your third eye. Check us out today at magusbooks.com.
Hello, I'm Jody, also known as Witch Jody on social media. I opened Midwest Witchery and Healing in historic Stillwater because as a nurse, I love to help others. When you come and visit Midwest Witchery and Healing, you will find everything from divination and magical services, classes to ritual tools, jewelries, handcrafted candles, witchy gear, and much more. My store is a safe environment for all on their own unique path. Look for the purple door. Find out more at MidwestWitcheryHealing.com.
It's an absolute must for any true foodie. Vinaigrette at 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis offers premium oils and vinegars for the most discriminating of tastes. This is Sarah Piepenberg, owner of Vinaigrette. We bottle on site, there's no guesswork, and you get to taste test each and every oil and vinegar we offer. Our direct relationship with the growers ensures an uncompromised level of satisfaction. When you need to know you're cooking with the finest ingredients, first contact the independently owned Vinaigrette, 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis. Online at vinaigrettemn.com.
And welcome back to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakun. The phone lines are open, 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Couple things. If you want to, anything you want to talk about, give us a call. Let us know. What are the topics that are on your mind that are paranormal, UFO, cryptid related? Also, if you wanted to chime in on the question of the week, you are more than welcome to do so. Once again, the question of the week is, what is the scariest thing that you've ever seen, but you can't explain? And we are definitely taking calls. Obviously, Adam, what that normally means when I say we're taking calls, that means no one's going to call in. But usually. But
we've gotten a couple.
We have, and they're very good. I love it when people call in. So please consider doing so. So I want to quickly go through some of the answers tonight, and then I want to hear yours, Adam, as well. And so once again, the question is, what is the scariest thing that you've ever seen that you can't explain? And the reason why I've come up with that question is because I was thinking back to my episode with Cindy Sauer. Did you hear that at all, Adam?
No, I did not.
Might be for the best. It's dark.
Oh, okay.
It was
been a lights on night.
It was, I mean, after I finished here, I wanted to get out of here because it just, I mean, talking about her exorcism, and she had 2 ascended exorcism, which meant, like on the shows, you see all like, the ghost adventure people and stuff. Well, we got to do an emergency exorcism. There is no such thing.
No, there isn't.
But this was an exorcism that was approved by the Vatican, and there was 2 of them that she went through.
Ooh.
And I asked her point blank on the show, do you think it's left you? And her response was, after a little bit of fidgeting, I think so. So I hope so, but we got a call. Good. While Adam takes that, just a couple, once again, what is the scariest thing that you've ever seen that you can't explain? Let's see here. Ruben, my friend Ruben wrote in, let's see. When I was a kid, walking to the bus with my siblings in the middle of nowhere, 6 miles away from the nearest paved road, all of a sudden we all heard trucker CB talk coming out of the air. Lasted 30 seconds or so. It's been explained as possibly being an atmospheric thing with radio signals bouncing. But what was the speaker medium, right? I mean, like, I think what Ruben's getting at is like, sure, we know that the wavelengths can go all over. WCCO used to be able to be heard like way out, into Chicago, coming from here. I mean, it used to go all over the place, but it has to go into somewhere. That's why you have receivers so that we could hear them. So that's what Ruben's saying is, what was a speaker? Because there wasn't any around. So what was the speaker medium? Clouds. It was the 80s. We did not have headphones or AirPods on or anything like that. That's interesting. And it's not, what's interesting about it? It's not scary, to me, but it is like, what is that?
Yeah, it totally is. Because the what is can definitely be scary, especially if you experienced it at a younger age. And then as you get older, you're like, okay, I want to experience this again so I can figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is going to tie into what you're going to say, right? Once again, folks, if you want to answer this question and put anything in, you can put it into the chat at GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook, or AM 950 Radio on Facebook as well. Or you can go to the phones, 952-946-6205, which is where we're going to go right now. We have Nicole. Hi, Nicole. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Fantastic.
Well, very good. So what's on your mind?
So I actually responded
I saw that
on your Facebook post. Yeah. And so I thought I'd call in.
Please
because
do,
you're like, no one ever calls. And I was like, well, I'm listening in. I can call.
How nice.
I'll do that for you guys.
You almost make us sound legitimate. So.
So anyways, I had a very strange thing happen at the Hinsdale house in New York.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people have mixed feelings. Some paranormal investigators go there. They're like, nothing happened. And when I went there, plenty of things happened, but I don't think the rest of the team that I was with experienced the same things I do because I'm sensitive and I'm also a medium.
Yes.
So One of the most bizarre things that I saw there was when I had gone to the pond.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind's eye and through mediumship, I saw two bodies floating up, one a male and one a female. And I also saw the lady by the lake, which I got to tell you was really intimidating. And I wanted nothing to do with that pond, lake, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And I kept telling myself, this is just in my mind's eye. My mind is just replaying every horror movie I've ever seen. That's all that's happening right now. And later we were speaking to the curator of the Hinsdale house, and she began to tell us how they did find bodies at the bottom of that pond. And I'm like, well, great, just fantastic. But the thing that really freaked me out that I have no explanation for when it comes to that pond was at one point I was walking away from it, and for whatever reason, I decided to turn around and look back, and it was completely still. And when I say still, it was like someone took a photograph, like something in the universe pressed pause on that pond. Every ripple was still, little waves were still, like nothing was moving. It was just completely still. And of course, it's not like it was frozen. The water was moving just fine, but it was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And I turned to the person who was with me, and I looked over at him. I'm like, "Are you seeing this?" And he wasn't looking at the pond. He was checking something else out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I looked back at the pond, the water was moving just fine. But that was just by far one of the most bizarre experiences I've ever had. And that particular part wasn't scary, like seeing the bodies float up, like that was scary.
Yeah.
This was just weird.
do you have any thoughts onto with the work that you've done, why that was still, like any sort of, like, maybe not portal, because that sounds like the opposite of a portal, but something that would is it something that was something even possibly happening there that needed to almost like camouflage so that you wouldn't see it, and it basically energetically put up like a big picture so there is hiding whatever was really happening behind there?
Well, that's a really good theory. It's as good as any. To be honest, I don't have any theories. I have no idea what could have caused that. But it really was as if something just paused that part of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of theories about aliens and UFOs around that area. Maybe they did something. Like, I have no idea. But it really was just a very, very bizarre experience. So I can't say I intuitively tuned into any reason as to why that was happened. I was just mesmerized, confused, perplexed. Like, something's moving and it's completely still. Like, water does not pause like that. It was very bizarre.
What about that woman you said that you saw, the intimidating one? What? So she was, for lack of better words, living while there's two bodies in the pond, right?
Yes.
Was she like gatekeeping that or something?
I think that she was protective of that area. I don't know if she was particular. I mean, I do feel like she was protective of that pond, and I know I keep saying Lady of the Lake because I think it's the same entity that people have talked about that they've seen, in different lakes and ponds and bodies of water. So it is possible that she had something to do with it, and like you said, maybe she didn't want me to see what was going on. Maybe she, maybe she was part of the tragedies that took place there. Who knows? But yeah, she was. Even just thinking about her, I get uncomfortable. Like, yeah, I did not like that energy at all.
Oh, no. And and as we know, you really don't want to talk or think about it either, because it just feels like that it's almost opening a door in some ways.
I mean, it can feel that way, but I like to think that she's there in New York, just doing her business, and
that's what I meant.
In Minnesota doing your thing. I'm way out here, and she can just stay there. She could traumatize whoever she's traumatizing. It's all good.
That's what I meant.
She's playing with someone else.
That's what I meant to say. Absolutely. Okay, Nicole, and we gotta catch up sometime. Okay.
Sure.
All righty.
Sounds good.
Thanks for calling in, Nicole.
Thanks. Bye.
So, bye-bye. And that Hinsdale house I've not investigated. We should get Daniel Kloss on. He owns the house, and thing is, he's everywhere. So it's like a lot of places you can hear him. He's a nice guy. And he's had that house for a long time. They did a lot of work. Do you know that place, Adam? Hinsdale House?
I've seen it on one of the paranormal shows that goes on Ghost Hunters.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I remember that they were able to debunk some shadows in the basement because of how the glass is and across the street, but they also caught like 3 disembodied voices and one of them, I don't remember which one, like it wasn't on camera, but they witnessed an apparition there.
Yeah.
And that one's always kind of fascinated me too, because of not just because of the house itself, but when it was built, the native land that it initially was on always kind of made me think that there's more of a land-based entity hanging out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting story from Nicole. Now, Adam, what happened to you? What's yours?
Okay, so when I was a kid, I lived next door to St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church in Middletown, Indiana. Not Middletown, New Jersey. I wasn't that cool.
No.
It was Middletown, Indiana. And I would go with my grandfather. He was the caretaker of the church, and I'd go over with him and help out, quote unquote, help out. You know, being a little kid, you're not really going to help much. You're just tagging along with grandpa. So we'd go down to the church basement, and I swear my hand to God that there would be shadows moving in and out behind these old statues that used to be in the church and some that they had brought in from the cemetery that were old and needed work. So saw those a couple of times when I was really, really young. Didn't really know much about it. Just, okay, there's weird things going on in the basement. I don't like it. Grandpa, can we go? As I got older, I was still an altar boy and still part of the Catholic Church there. And I think it had to have been about 96. So I was probably 15, 16 years old. Father Landorland, who was the priest there at the time, needed some things taken down the church basement. I'm like, okay, I'm here early anyway, so I'll roll these down for you. Not a problem. So I grabbed a couple of boxes of stuff to take down to the basement and get down there. And those same statues are still there. So my thought is to get in and out as quickly as possible because, even at 16, it still kind of freaked me out. And I go down there, open up the door to the basement, take a couple of steps in, and for a handful of seconds, I couldn't tell you exactly how long it was. There was a dark figure just standing just past the doorway of the basement. And I know I put that it disappeared, for lack of a better term, in my post, but It was more like it evaporated, if you will.
Sure.
And, I put the boxes down, shut the door, and ran right back up the stairs. Now, saying that, now being 43, doing this show for a couple of years with you now, I would love to experience that again and try some form of communication to figure out who or what it is that was down in the basement of that church. So yes, it was the scariest moment of my life, but thanks to you and this show, it's now one of the more intriguing portions of my life that I would like to find out more information on.
Well, and I think that's a really good point. And I think this is good for most people who are, face to face with something that they may not really understand, is very simply that that just because something is dark doesn't mean it's dark or bad natured, right?
Exactly. I've not only when we had Sam Baltrusis on the show, but I've read one of his books as well. And my theory on it has kind of been altered from what Sam has in his book, where shadow figures can be a mix of two things. It's either one dimension looking over to this dimension, like an Earth 1, Earth 2, or it's a apparition of a spirit who just hasn't had enough energy to form completely. And because it's dark doesn't mean it's evil. It didn't come from the bowels of hell just because it's dark.
Exactly.
We shouldn't just take the fact, it's a shadowy person, this must be evil. No. There are a handful of evil spirits out there, and believe me, you'll know when it's evil.
Oh yeah, there's no mistake. For those who don't understand, like, we've been talking about this a lot, that if people who are like, oh gosh, I kind of think we have a demon here or something. No, there's no kind of thinking about that.
No.
There is something definitely not the case. Now, Have I ever shown you my Velisca picture?
Yeah, you have.
So that to me is probably, I'm putting it up now. It might be hard to see online here, but what we're looking at here, this is taken at a mirror, and those are two human eyes staring back at me.
Yeah, that one's creepy. Not as creepy as your voicemail.
And well, I seem to attract creepiness, so
But I think I would have now. Was this a digital camera or was this on film?
No, this is not on film. It's a digital camera.
It is a digital camera. So you saw that right away after you took it.
After we started going through stuff, because we started seeing faces a number of places in pictures that we took, some of it just pareidoia.
Yeah.
But that's not pareidoia. In fact, if you were to zoom in on that picture, there are more eyes.
Yeah. If I would have noticed that right away, I definitely would have been, calling down some light, some sort of protection for myself, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing is with that too, is we started seeing things in a lot of pictures that were being taken, and Velisca is not near anything in Iowa. And I really felt like there was no escape.
Oh,
it started, and part of that is certainly, it's psychosomatic. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But part of it also was that it's just like, it felt, we had such oppression happening in that place that it felt like that as soon as if we were to get in the car, that something was going to happen to us. And it did.
Yeah, you told me about this part too. Yeah,
it did. So, but that was during the day.
Yeah,
luckily. But we had somebody at work who said to me before the trip, "Wouldn't it be funny if like a tire blew out or something, like because they knew we were going to Velisca?" Hilarious, yeah,
real fun.
Well, the next morning after a very harsh evening at Velisca, I'm in the back seat and I keep getting jolted awake. I knew immediately I had an attachment, and the people who were with me were ill-prepared to help me in any possible way, even to tell me, you should talk to this person, you should talk to that person. They didn't have anything. And they're the ones who have been doing it for a while. And so Vicky, who is the one that organized the whole thing, she's just like, I'm really tired. Can Greg, can you drive? I'm like, yeah, I can drive. I'm not falling asleep or anything. We're making good time. And all of a sudden, 2 tires blow on the car, on the truck. And that was and when I came back to work, the guy who was like, wouldn't it be great, wouldn't it be funny if tire blew, he's like, looks at me and goes, how was it? And I'm like, 2 tires blew out of the truck on the way back. And he literally looked at his computer, started working, and we never spoke of it again.
Wow.
Absolutely, like, ridiculous. A lot more to it, but we got to fit in a break here. Don't forget, we're going to read more of the responses to our question of the week. Don't forget, you can call in with anything on your mind if you want to answer for the question of the week, or if you have something else you want to talk about. 952-946-6205. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
Tune in for Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything
except your intelligence.
Coming up, In awe of wonder.
Descartes said that the purpose of wonderment is to get us to learn and remember.
But why does wonder have to have a purpose?
You want to waste your life staring slack-jawed at rainbows, not learning anything about them?
You want science to take all the joy out of rainbows?
In awe of wonder. Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Philosophy Talk, every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 950.
Hello, I'm Jody, also known as Witch Jody on social media. I opened Midwest Witchery and Healing in historic Stillwater because as a nurse, I love to help others. When you come and visit Midwest Witchery and Healing, you will find everything from divination and magical services, classes to ritual tools, jewelries, handcrafted candles, witchy gear, and much more. My store is a safe environment for all on their own unique path. Look for the purple door. Find out more at MidwestWitcheryHealing.com.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight with a low of 31, then snow on Saturday with temperatures around 29. The nights are getting colder, but the music is still the hottest at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. View their upcoming music schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
And join us Monday as we bring on our guest, Echo Bodine, who's a psychic medium, and she's a healer. She is very well known around, especially around the Twin Cities here. She's been doing this work for a number of years and has been very successful with it. She also does the show Enough is Enough, which is on boldbravetv.com. So I'm really excited to have her on. I haven't spoken to her in probably about 8 years. I had her on one of my other iterations of the show. So I'm really excited to have her on. Welcome back to GhostBox Radio. It's Casual Friday. If there's something you want to talk about, give us a call, 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205. You could also put it into the comments. If you're watching us on Facebook, you'd be watching us on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun or AM 950 Radio on Facebook. So let us know what's on your mind. Happy to do so. Otherwise, we're going to be going back to some answers. Our question this week was, what is the scariest thing you've ever seen that you can't explain? And to Adam's point, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is bad, but it's just we're in an area here doing paranormal and doing all this stuff that, you know, we just don't know what is what. If it doesn't make sense, obviously we're going to be questioning what it is and it will take us by surprise. So like what Adam was talking about, whatever that was doesn't necessarily mean it's evil. It just means that it's taking us by surprise. We don't know what it is. And like to your point, Adam, you said that you would love to be able to find out now.
Oh yeah. And like I said, early in my life, scared me. Scariest moment of my life. Now, like I said before, most intriguing. Because I would love to find out who or what is lingering in the basement of St. Vincent de Paul. Is it one of the original priests of the building? Is it someone who's come over from the graveyard? Are there multiple people in there? Do you know, why are they just hanging out? Just the basic questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are you here?
What if there's somebody who needs to be crossed over?
That too.
Yeah.
You figure that'd be the best place to do it would be being at a church.
Which is odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
The idea that they're like, obviously, you know, I think I need help. I'm going to come here, but no one there knows how to do that because they have their own way of doing things.
Yeah, or they're not in tune or just completely ignore, oh, it must be the radiator or that noise got to be, from this. It's an old building. So
yeah.
That happens all the time, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to our question, which once again is what is the scariest thing that you've ever seen that you can't explain? Christy wrote in. She says that a couple of people in her group were on an investigation and loud drumming and chanting were coming from right outside. Whip the door open and it instantly stops. No one there.
Yeah, I saw that one on the Facebook feed today. That's fun. Or probably not fun for her, but that would be very fun to be a part of an investigation. Be like, okay, where's this noise coming from? Open the door, nothing there. It's like, all right, then you go outside, and then you try not to get lost in the woods if there's woods around. But I think that would be a fantastic experience.
Oh yeah, no, I think that would be pretty amazing. Carl says what scares him is people who believe in Bigfoot. They terrify me. I'm like, come on. He says, seriously, though, I've never seen anything on an investigation or otherwise. Heard and recorded sounds, yes, but no visuals. So fair enough. It's odd that someone would be like, and then maybe he is completely kidding, but there are people out there who are like, yeah, people who believe in Bigfoot. It's just really odd to me that if you are a paranormal investigator, I would think that, and I've run into this, I would think that the whole package is up for grabs in terms of like paranormal is not just spirit related. Paranormal is spirit, ufology, cryptozoology, anything that cannot be explained, the pseudoscience. A lot of, most people consider paranormal just spirits, and that's only part of it. So it's like, it always surprises me when someone will be like, yeah, I believe in spirits. Do you believe in aliens? Oh, no, I can't. No, that's too far for me. Everyone has their own threshold. I get that. But it's like, I just wrongly assumed that everybody would be on board with all those concepts.
Yeah. Luckily for this to work, us working together, to me, paranormal is that entire package, and like there's one in the comments here on Facebook from Joanne, cryptid I've never heard of, and I love cryptids, but she's got Lizzie the Dragon Monster. She saw it when she was 12. She says she's not going to go back there ever again. She's out of Canada. I'll pop that up there. And yeah, that's one I've never heard of. And I would actually like more to this story about what she actually saw.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. And I'm not surprised, I guess. I was gonna say I'm always surprised, but I'm not surprised by how many new sort of cryptids show up every time we do a show. Like Lizzie the Monster. I've never heard of Lizzie the Monster. Doesn't mean that it's not real. It just means another one I haven't heard of.
Yeah, it's like I had never heard of Peppy before I moved up here.
Oh, yeah.
It was probably about 10, 15 years ago was the first time I had ever heard of Ogopogo, which, outdates Nessie by about 700 years.
Yeah.
So you're always discovering these new, I guess, regional cryptids. And it makes sense that there's different cryptids in different part of the world, different areas of the world, because even if there is a natural explanation, Mother Nature has a time to, they'll throw us a curveball from time to time, and all of a sudden you get what's probably a lake worm or lake eel. Instead of being, 3 feet long, ends up being 12 feet long.
Well, and when I interviewed Lyle Blackburn a couple weeks back, one of the things that I had asked him, because when we're talking about, say, like a Bigfoot type creature, okay, like a Sasquatch, and I asked him, what is more of the characteristic? Is it the fact that there are creatures like that out there, or is it the stories that we have in those regions that we put around him that is more of the story here? Because these creatures probably aren't all that different. A swamp skunk isn't going to be all that much different than a Bigfoot up here, apart from their environment and how they have to adapt. But it's like our interactions with them is what actually creates the myths.
Yeah, the folklore of it.
Absolutely. So that's my thought on it. And I feel like that, it's fascinating that there's so many that come out of nowhere. To me, they come out of nowhere. I'm by no means a cryptid expert, but I love to hear more and more about them. I love to try to get to the deeper levels than, say, like a Nessie or something like that, which everyone knows about. I much rather get into all the weird. And the thing is like these and then Joanne just said it was like a dragon on top and a Nessie body.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Well, and the thing is like, what if these legends in some of these regions are just animals that we know that have been born with deformities?
Yeah.
Like they're one-offs.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, there's the story of what's quote unquote the Serra Azul monster in Central America.
Yep.
There's a photo of it. There was like these 4 or 5 kids who witnessed it or whatever. All it was a hairless sloth. It was a sloth that had a mutation. And yeah, the mutation could turn something into a river monster, a lake monster, dare I say, like a Mothman type thing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, all these one-offs can definitely create all of these legends. And who knows if these one-offs decide to, if they end up breeding, there might not be another one-off, but then there might create 3 or 4 one-offs in whatever the litter, school, whatever it might be.
And I personally believe, like, that's, in my mind, that's what Chupacabra is. Not a one-off though, but I think that it's just something that is not quite as defined as I think that they would like him to be.
Yeah, I think it's a feral something.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Adam, did you hear that there was a fire over at not the Conjuring House, but at the barn of the Conjuring House?
Yes, I did read about that. Reddit's kind of like my new place to find the paranormal rumor mill.
Yeah.
But it turns out this was legit. The barn actually caught on fire.
Yeah, they were quick to say, but it wasn't started by a ghost. It's like, well,
are we sure?
I mean, you can't be too sure. I mean, it's like, honestly, when people are talking about, and for those who may not understand what we're talking about, the Conjuring House, if you've ever seen the Conjuring movies, really only the first, it's like the Conjuring series, but only the first movie took place in the Conjuring House, and that had, that's what started the film series with the fictional versions of Ed and Lorraine Warren. But the thing is with that is first of all, a very expensive place to investigate. Very expensive.
Oh, I imagine.
And more power to them if that's what they want to do. But I also, everyone goes there. And I personally am done going to places that everyone goes to. I want to go to places that are unique, off the map, places that are just like, that hasn't been advertised. That's what I look for. That's why, whether we liked it or not, that Masonic Lodge.
Oh yeah.
No one's investigated there before. That's what I want to bring to the table.
There's 2 places I want to do that have been overly investigated, but I'm with you 100% on the rest. I want to go to the place that nobody's ever tried. But the 2 I want to do is I want to do Waverly and I want to do Eastern State Penitentiary.
I want to do Waverly with my friends. Like, I'd love to do it with like Denise and Ernie Pack.
That would be fun. I would love to make that trip back to the area I grew up in for once in my life, for not a funeral, and go look for dead people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's just it. I mean, that's really, there's a couple of places that I guess might be more well known that I wouldn't mind going, but ultimately, when I hear people who go there all the time, and they're, when you have the same people go to these places all the time, in my opinion, they start creating a narrative. And Joanne, we start creating a narrative. Now, Joanne says investigation into the tomb where Jesus was. Here's the thing. So for class, I pulled out through one of my GhostBox lives when I used to do the weekly Spirit Box. Easter back in 2022, I did, and because I'm Catholic, and so we always say don't lead with your religion when you're doing investigations and stuff. But I did one where I wanted to reach out to Mother Mary, and I was Easter, and I had this memory of doing it on a Spirit Box, and I said, Mother Mary, you here? And you get this response, I'm here. And so I went this last week and I found that episode and I cut that out and I listened to it again. Sure enough, there it is, but it's a male voice. But it's like, and the response is like, I'm here. And it's just, I mean, I'm getting chills now, actually. It's there. And I don't doubt for a second that isn't her. It doesn't have to be a female voice coming through the box to be a female, but it is a very interesting thing. And I don't know. I thought that was pretty amazing. I mean, that aged just fine. That was really cool to hear that again. I really like that.
And like you said, it doesn't have to sound like a female voice to be a female or a male voice to be a male. As when Gary Gulko was on here, and he's like, they visualize,
Mhm.
and then that's the words that come out.
Absolutely.
So it could be any gender
Yep.
or species for that matter, because we could be talking to star people for all we know.
All we know. Absolutely. And that's one of the things that, and I always say, if you can get a response, good. That's all that matters. You get a response, they're not yelling at you, they're not swearing at you, they're not calling themselves any names you don't want to hear. I think that's great. So, okay, as we wrap up the week, don't forget on Monday, we're going to have on Echo Bodine. She is a psychic medium and a healer. She is fantastic, and I can't wait to have her on the show again. Please make sure to visit ghostboxradio.com to find past episodes of our radio show, and like us over on Facebook at Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakun. Also, send any comments or feedback about the show to comment@ghostboxradio.com. And don't forget to check out the best of Ghostbox Radio, airing tomorrow night at 8:05 and Sunday at 4:05 p.m. on AM 950. We have some great episodes this week. And then finally, whether you're chasing spirits or just drinking them tonight, please be careful out there. And we're going to see you Monday as we have on Echo Bodine. Everyone, have a great weekend and take care.